Well, it is senior day on Saturday as ACU wraps up the regular season, and the Wildcats say goodbye for the final time at Moody Coliseum to Jaylen Franklin, Jaren Lewis, and Hayden Farquhar, who are here with me. We'll hear from their head coach, Joe Golding, in just a moment. Let me ask, this is for any of you. Throckmorton, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Orlando, Florida, three very different places. What has brought you together?
Just trusting each other. Coming in our freshman year, in the summer we seen each other coming at UP, and we was like, man, what's going on? He came in a truck, and Jaren came in with his family, and I came in with my family. And we just, like Coach said, just trust each other, and it brought us in together. I mean,
and you start laughing when you hear Jay Frank say, because that's how he starts every answer. Jaren, what do you remember about those early days?
Oh man, it was crazy at first, just getting to know everybody. It was a really new group, a fresh group of faces, and it was just like Jaylen said, we just bought into each other and trusted each other from the jump, and we just immediately formed bonds, and feel like these guys are like my brothers forever.
Hayden, you remember those first couple of weeks together?
Oh, of course. I think what really brought us together was the first night we were all here. We all gathered in one apartment, came together, we did a Bible study. And from there on out, we were all close together, and the relationship stayed strong throughout the years.
Of course, you guys have a fourth member of this group, Hayden Howell, who we're not letting go as quickly as we're letting go of you guys, because he's going to come back next year after redshirting. Do each of you guys remember your first basket? Any of you remember it? Hayden, what do you remember?
I don't know.
University of the Southwest, big game.
I don't know who it was against.
That's who it was. University of Southwest, November 13th, 2015.
Okay, but I got it. I turned around and I got fouled, but they didn't call a foul, and I put it up with one hand and shot it, and it went in. That's all I remember.
That's pretty good. Do you remember yours?
No, I really don't.
Do you remember who your first assist was to? You can probably guess.
Wentz.
Yeah. See, that's classic Jay Frank. And he doesn't remember his first basket. He remembers his first assist. Do you remember that first game?
I remember the first game. I don't remember the first bucket, though.
Yeah, you scored a few that day, and you've scored a few ever since. You went over 1,500 points on Tuesday night in the win over Stephen F. Austin. That's a lot. When you think back to the way you've grown, let's just talk. We'll talk about the other stuff later, but just as a player, how have you grown?
I've grown a lot, just a lot of hard work, and then it's really a testament to the guys around me and the coaching staff, especially Jay Frank and Fark, just always believing in me. The coaching staff always believing in me, and these guys are the ones that give me open looks. They're the ones who create for me, and I just owe it to them, really. They really helped me out.
Hayden, you led the Southland Conference in three-point shooting a couple of years ago. You're up among the league leaders this year. Tell me how your game has evolved from being just a three-point shooter to doing other things.
Like you said, my sophomore year I was shooting the ball great, and last year I wasn't shooting the ball very well. And then this year coaches told me just play your role, let the game come to you, don't do too much, and just stay confident in yourself. And that's what happened. I mean, I'm shooting the ball well, and then I can get inside and do a little bit. But it all goes back to Jay Frank and Jaren. Like, whenever Jaren gets the ball inside, everybody collapses on him. That's whenever I get my threes. And then whenever Jay Frank drives, all five of them go to him, and then he just finds the right person at the right time.
You're closing in on 500 assists. The first of those came to Parker Wentz back in November of 2015. When you think about the evolution of Jay Frank as a player, you began as a scorer off the ball, then you moved to the point, and now here you are as a senior. Coach Golding says you don't care about stats. What is the most important right now?
Most important right now is just trusting my teammates and believing in those guys. Like you said, my first year here, I was a scorer, and Jay Little taught me how to be a point guard. And going on from there, I just kept evolving and everything, and just believing in these two guys. I mean, great shooter, like you said, sophomore year, and Jaren just became a better player. And just finding these two, that's all that matters to me right now.
Do you guys have one specific favorite memory, whether it's on the court in a game or off the court? Why are you laughing? Anybody?
My favorite moment is when Drake and Jovan was arguing at Southeastern. He told Drake told him to throw it up. No, Jovan told him to throw the lob, and Drake was like, "No," and they turned it over. He's like, "Throw the lob." He's like, "Shut up!" And they're just going back and forth in Southeastern.
What do you remember, Jaren?
I mean, that's up there for me too. And the funniest part about that for me was the ref thought like we were talking back and forth between teams, so the ref tried to get in between. It was like, hey, and like literally he knows just Drake and Jovan going at it. So like that was just hilarious that day.
Fark, are you gonna remember games the most, or will you remember stuff that happened in between the games?
The stuff between the games, probably the hotels, are probably what I remember the most.
They've gotten a little better over the last few years, haven't they?
Yes, I've roomed with Jay Frank for all 4 years at every away game, and never a dull moment. Everything, something new every time. I even have a video on my phone of these two wrestling in Jay Frank's bed.
We may need to see that. In fact, stay tuned to acusports.com. See if we can post that. All right. I took your coach to task on Twitter and Facebook the other night because at the end of the interview, when he said, "This isn't about me, it's about the team," and I said, "It's at least a little bit about you, so you guys tell me what has Coach Golding meant."
It's meant a lot to me. Like, he's been a father figure to me. Just a great coach. He believes in all three of us and our whole team, and I love him.
Yeah.
I mean, going off what Jaylen said, he's obviously the heart and soul of our program, a huge piece, and he's done a fantastic job leading us since the day I stepped on this campus, and we owe a lot to him, and he's done a great job with us, and it's just huge how he's believed in us and trusted in us, even in our worst days. He's always behind us, so that's always meant a lot to me.
Hayden, we see him on the bench, but we don't see him the other 300 and 20-something days of the year. What has he meant?
Oh, he means a lot. Just like for every Christmas we've always gone to his house, he's always fed us. He's always done fellowship with us. I mean, it is truly amazing what this guy has done for our program. And just to end it off this way with these three seniors and just for him, I mean, it is truly amazing for what he's done for us.
Maybe last thing here for you guys. How would you like this senior class to be known? Because you're going to be talked about for a long time. You're the one that took ACU to its most ever wins in a regular season. How would you like to be remembered?
We would like to be remembered. I think we would like to be remembered as like those guys that stuck to the process and trust the process. You know.
Where have I heard that before? Trust the process. Who says that?
Yeah. Coach G. Yeah, like just trust the process and believe in each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, just going off of what Jaylen said, that's really just what we want to be known as. We had some tough days in the beginning, but we stuck with it and hung tough, and now we're reaping the rewards. So just getting remembered for that and winning.
How would you like this group to be remembered?
I would like this group to be remembered by just how hard we work and the unselfish we have.
Yeah.
Like Jay Frank, just a facilitator, Jaren Lewis, a facilitator. It's awesome to see like our mindset coming in as freshmen and our mindset coming in now. It's changed our whole demeanor, and it's really cool.
I guess one last thing. Have you all thought much about what Saturday will be like?
Nah, I really haven't.
Have you tried not to think about it?
Nah, just thinking about the game and just thinking about getting the dub.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I'm not trying to overthink it or anything, just trying to think it as another opportunity to get a W.
All right, well, let's bring in your coach here. He's kind of waiting in the wings. Let's have you guys step aside here. And, you've had a chance to hear what those guys had to say. Have you thought much about what tomorrow, Saturday, will be like?
No, I'm just trying to get through this interview. You know, it's a day we dreaded for a long time. I have these three. They mean so much to me, my family, our team, our university. It's going to be a tough day for all of us, but we're going to celebrate them. We're going to celebrate them the right way, and they deserve every bit of it.
You have said frequently that Jalen Little and Parker Wentz and Austin Cook and Durant Porter laid the foundation. What have these guys done?
They've built upon the foundation. I think that's very obvious. When I said this to you after the SFA game. I don't think we've celebrated these guys enough. These guys deserve a lot more celebration. Hopefully Saturday's the start of that. This year has been so crazy. We've had so many firsts and done so many things. I think once the year is over, we can even celebrate them more. I think these guys will be able to walk back on this campus at any time, and they're going to be known for a long time for not just what they did on the basketball floor. They built a program, but they're also three great student athletes. They represent our university in an incredible manner. They're great in the community. You go take them anywhere in the community and see what happens. Even this morning, 7:15 this morning, they're high-fiving elementary kids on their way into school. It's just who they are. They're going to be incredible men. They're going to be great husbands one day. They're going to be great fathers. I'm a better coach. I'm a better person because of them.
They were just kids when they showed up here. Let me take you back to.
I was too. I mean, let's be honest. You know, I mean, like I was young in this. You know, and they believed in a vision when nobody else believed in it. They believed in me when nobody else believed in me. I owe them the world. I owe them everything. They trusted the process. I heard Jaren saying that. You know, that's a big saying in our program. But there was a lot of people that weren't on board. Let's be honest, man. Trusting the process was hard 4 years ago when it was a vision, it was a dream, and those guys bought into it. They before anybody else did, and they're seeing it this year. And so I'm incredibly in debt to those guys.
We talked about Hayden Howell, who's not pictured here, and there are some other guys who've been a part of this. But let's go back 4 years. Things were not 4 years this month. Things were not going particularly well in terms of wins and losses, and you kept saying, "Wait till you see this group that's coming in the fall." From the moment they showed up, what have they brought to you?
Yeah, I think you saw that in Costa Rica, you know, just the energy that Costa Rica was fun. It was kind of like just a breath of fresh air. There were 6 of them that came in that class together, 2 of them redshirted, you know, and then obviously the 4 of them, you know, counting Hal. And you could just tell, you know, it was just, you could tell their athleticism. You could tell that they were really good basketball players. Our talent level had definitely gone up a little bit, but they were still freshmen, you know, and you're the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores, you know, and each year what they've done has just gotten better. And you know, I just think that they're kids today in college athletics that always go chase the next best thing. They're always looking for the next best thing. They're always blaming other people. These 3 dudes, man, they bunkered down, man. They when things weren't great our freshman year, they didn't try to go find the next best thing, man. They bunkered down together. They made a commitment to each other. They worked their butts off. They helped us recruit better players. They helped the program build a culture that's built upon certain pillars that lead to success. That was built by Parker and Duran and Cook and those guys and Jay Little, but they took it to a whole different level. It's what college athletics, in my opinion, is all about. I've never seen it. I mean, I've saw it with Parker, I guess. And there might be a few more. Drake, I saw it with Drake and Tripp, but you know, these 3 right here, man, they just when you have dudes that have been in your program for 4 years and they come in as boys or kids and they leave as men. These are 3 men now, you know, and these are 3 dudes that changed this men's basketball program forever. You know what they've done this year, and we'll be forever grateful for them for that.
You were very candid about your first couple of years at ACU, trying a couple of different ways to go about winning. And then you went up to Butler and spent some time with that coaching staff, and you became convinced we can find 4-year guys who can play basketball at a high level and be the kind of guys we want. Those are these guys, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, that's what it changed everything. You know, we wouldn't found guys that fit our university, fit our mission. They're going to class that want to chase a degree. A degree means something to them that we didn't have to chase them to class. We wanted to find guys that would work hard on and off the floor and develop as better men and better basketball players. It's a model used by Ken Collins years ago, you know, that I was able to study and watch from, and we just felt the culture is what wins here. I've been on this campus a long time. I've seen it done different ways. There's obviously different ways to do things, but I thought this was the best way to do it. I'm fortunate to have the university stick behind me. I was fortunate enough to have these guys continue to believe in me through it when it didn't look like it was going to, you know, head in the right direction, and I think now everybody's reaping the rewards for it, and so I just get to sit back now and watch. You know, it's been a crazy year. It's been so much fun, man. I've maybe chewed them out. They'll probably lie to you. They'll probably tell you something different. But, you know, maybe a handful of times I've had to really get on them this year.
You said they've run halftime locker rooms a lot.
Those 3 guys run it, man. Those 3 guys have been incredible. They're incredible leaders for our basketball team, and it's been so fun for me to just sit back and watch them.
Are you going to have a favorite memory that you take away from these guys, or is it just too many?
I've got so many. I was sharing a little bit, you know, from Jay Frank passing out his freshman year when he was running lines. You know, I think he made 2 lines and he was out, and I still have the picture somewhere. I can't find it. I've had 10 phones since there, just like my suits. You know, I lose phones like suits. But Jay Frank, I'll never forget that in the hallway. He was, I think it maybe him and Jelani, but definitely Jay. I mean, he was. If there would have been a Greyhound bus leaving for Little Rock that night, he'd have been on it. You know. And then obviously the famous flu, Jay Franklin the flu. You know, that story will be with me forever. And you know, old grandmother came in and saved the day. Jaren Lewis, I went to recruit him, and I found out it's a swimming school. It wasn't even a basketball school. They have like 500 kids swimming in this pool, and I'm like, where's the basketball court? And they're like, what basketball court? And I'm like, hey, didn't you guys have basketball players? I came here to see Jaren Lewis, and they had just won a state championship the year before. But anyways, they had this really small gym in this huge Olympic-sized swimming pool. But to Jaren, telling me he's a point guard and he was gonna come in here and lead us and assist and take the most charges that ever been taken in Abilene Christian history. And that hasn't happened. But he has learned how to score the ball and rebound the basketball. But
he's closing in on a couple hundred assists as well.
Yeah,
300.
I mean, just incredible kid, and there's plenty of stories about Jaren. And Farquhar, I mean, what a story. I mean, let's be honest, man. I mean, Throckmorton, America, one stoplight town, best restaurant in town's Awesome Burritos. I still stop by there on the way when I go back home, and it's great. I'll have my ACU shirt on, and everybody's like, Hayden Farquhar, and so he's famous in Throckmorton. It's hard to do that, but just an incredible family, great mom and dad. I never forget Tanner telling the story of going to see him play football and the helicopter dropping the game ball, and Bob Lilly, I think it was, getting out of the helicopter, and Tanner taking pictures of everything. And there was another part to that story, but I won't throw Farquhar on the video on that one, man. I won't go there. I'll save it on him, man. But Farquhar's just been it's fun, man. He's That's a tough kid, man. That's a tough kid. He's given this program everything he's had. And, you asked that question to him earlier. Let me say this about Farquhar. We spent a lot of time this summer. He was not happy last year. He was frustrated with how his performance on the floor. I think he was frustrated with me in his minutes, what he's playing. We want guys in our program that want to play. He wanted to play. He wanted a bigger part. And I've never been more happy for a kid to embrace a role and have the year. He's playing his best basketball he's ever played in his life. He's playing at such a high level, but his identity is not in making shots anymore. And I think that's for his whole 3 years, his identity was, did the shot go in or not? And what we've done is completely switched his mindset to where Farquhar brings so much more to our program than if that shot goes in or not, And so I'm proud of all three of them. Jay Frank and Jaren have obviously had a great career, but Farquhar is just the senior year he's had is so pleasing to me, because you want your seniors, and I wanted Hayden Farquhar. I remember talking to him this summer. We wanted to finish this thing the right way, and he's done it.
Well, as many musical instruments as he plays, he ought to be versatile.
That's what I was going to say, but you get with Farquhar on that story. Yeah. I'm not going to throw him. I'm not.
Well,
he's very talented. Yes, he's got a lot of talents.
Yeah. Last thing, the Hollywood script almost never happens in real life, but it's happening this year, isn't it? 24-6. They're going out the way that you'd dream of them going out. It's so far.
Yeah, you know what? People might not have thought. We thought we were going to win 24 games this year. We thought we were going to be really good. This is what we've worked for, I mean, and so this is not what we expected this. We had a bad February and March last year, and it stuck with us all spring and all summer. I could tell with our leadership. I knew we were going to do something special, and so we've got an incredible group. They deserve it. This is what March Madness is all about, man. It's what college athletics is all about. It's about seniors. It's about dudes that do things the right way, man. They get rewarded, and these three guys do it as good as anybody in the country. And it's again, it's going to be a tough day for me tomorrow.
There is a game to play, by the way.
Yeah, there is, and against a really good team.
They scored 100 and something points the other night.
They're really good, and so that's the hard part is with this. There's so much emotion in it that at the end of the day, you got to win a basketball game, and so. But these three guys, they'll be ready to play. I'm not worried about that, but we're going to celebrate them too. They deserve tomorrow. They deserve some emotion tomorrow. They deserve to be celebrated. They deserve some things to happen for them tomorrow that hasn't happened in a long time, but they deserve it, and rightfully so.
ACU sends out its sensational senior class on Saturday, hosting Incarnate Word, 3:30 tip-off following the women's game, final day of the regular season. And then next week in Katy, they're the number 2 seed in the Southland Conference Tournament.